Lethality Xayah is suddenly the most broken ADC, while Vi saw a couple quality of life fixes that are giving her lots of extra strength. Welcome back everyone, and in today's video, we will be updating you on the emerging trends throughout 11.22 and altering the tier list accordingly. As always, our analysts have been digging into the newest data and have gathered our challenger players to give you guys the most accurate read on the meta. But before we get into it, be sure to check out SkillCapped if you want to truly get better at League of Legends. We're the only service that offers a money-back guarantee if you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using our service. We do this because our service really does work, and if it doesn't work for you, you shouldn't pay. Learn more at the end of this video or click the link in the description below. So, let's get right into it. Congrats to all the Renekton mains out there, as your champion has made his way out of C tier for the first time in months. Renek saw a base health buff a few patches back, and now in 11.22, his W stun duration was bumped up as well, which is giving the champ some life. As long as you're running the correct rune page with PTA instead of Conqueror, Renekton is in a solid spot now. Over 50% of Ren players continue to run Conqueror though, which is a big reason to why his win rate is still being held down. We have a new build to share with you guys in tomorrow's video as well, which is adding even more power to the croc. We are moving Renekton into B tier as an average top lane pick, but he's very close to an A tier slot with any other positive change. Fiora was one top laner hit extremely hard by the 11.21 Conqueror and Gore Drinker nerfs, but players are adapting very well. Conk has been phased out for the most part as Grasp is leading to more success. Divine Sunder and Stridebreaker are great alternatives to Gore Drinker, however all 3 items are viable options now after the 11.22 Gore buffs. The key takeaway is to prioritize Grasp over Conqueror in melee matchups, and your carry potential will be great with Fiora. We'll be bumping Fiora back into S tier for mid-patch. As for the rest of the top lane tier list, Tom and Camille remain the best carry picks, but we don't expect that to last for long. They're so far above the rest of the competition that nerfs should be coming soon, so abuse them while you can. A notable adjustment is Kled moving up into S tier. We'll have a full breakdown of the pick in tomorrow's video, but in short, he's become indirectly stronger with many Conqueror users dropping down. Kled uses Grasp with the Titanic Hydra Rush, so he's loving the recent changes. Riven's time in B tier was very short-lived, as her direct buffs combined with Gore changes this patch have pushed her back into a good A tier standing. If you're looking to make that final end-of-season grind out of low elo, then Urgot, Nasus, or Yorick should be in your champion pool. High on the ban list for 11.22 are Teemo, Camille, and Tahm Kench. Moving on to the jungle, some last-minute Vi changes were added in 11.22, and I think we can all guess why. Arcane was released, so Riot wants one of the show's main characters in a powerful state for solo queue. When you think about it, those Jinx buffs from a few patches ago actually make sense now too, as she wasn't really in need of any buffs. Quality of life changes to Q and Ultimate have led to a surge in power for Vi. So much so that Riot has issued a hotfix nerf halfway through the patch. A couple base stat changes and a slight decrease to the knockup duration on Vi Ultimate is what we got. Our tier lists are catered towards what's best in Diamond and below, and Vi is performing absolutely nuts with over a 54% win rate. Not only have these quality of life buffs propelled Vi higher, but the fact she runs HOB and Divine Sunder is another benefit. Popular Conk and Gore jungler like Lee and Kayn have seen a drastic decrease in power, which enables Vi in those matchups. Don't sleep on Vi for 11.22, as she'll be placed in OP tier, and we can expect her ban rate to rise after players catch on to her power level. Kayn mains only had to deal with one patch of mediocrity, as the champion is back in a good state after 11.22 buffs. The 11.21 version of Gore Drinker was outperformed by a Ghostblade Rush, but that's not the case anymore. Gore Rush is back to being the most optimal as a result of the buffs. If you're playing Red Kayn this patch, then make sure to optimize your runes. Domination Secondary is still being played way too much after the Ravenous Hunter nerfs, while Inspiration is most optimal. Here's a look at the full rune page you should be running on Kayn in 11.22. As for the tier list placement, Kayn sits in A as a strong jungle option. Riot has tried nerfing Graves for 2 patches in a row now, and both have accomplished very little. Graves has shrugged off the nerfs and continues to dominate as a premier carry. Let's face it, his core build of Ghostblade into Shield Bow is disgustingly strong, as you're getting a bit of everything from high mobility, sustain, durability, and damage. Graves' ban rate is quite high at the moment, but for good reason, as he's a very valuable S tier pick for yet another patch. So breaking down the jungle tier list, we have Vi taking home the lone OP tier slot. Like we mentioned, the quality of life changes have pushed her over the edge, so look to take advantage before everyone else figures out Vi's true power. Kha'Zix is another notable adjustment, as we'll be dropping him down for mid-patch. Q nerfs have turned out more impactful than anticipated. Being a point-and-click spell, losing guaranteed damage hurts every aspect of Ka's game. Nerf doesn't remove Ka from the meta, but he leaves behind his OP status as he'll be placed in A tier as a good jungle option. In regards to the best low elo picks, we would recommend you spam one of Warwick, Trundle, or Fiddlesticks. Graves, Echo, and Viego are definitely the picks to prioritize for 11.22 as they're on the top of our ban list. For our question of the day, how has everyone fared with their ranked climb in Season 11? With just a few days left, have you been able to reach your goal, or are you still on the grind as the clock ticks down? Let us know how solo queue has been treating you down in the comments below. As a result of her 11.22 buffs, Akali is in the best spot she's been in for the past couple of months. Although the damage on passive wasn't increased by a crazy amount, you have to keep in mind you can proc it very consistently, so the damage adds up throughout extended fights. More players are finally catching on to the Rocket Belt build, which is leading to a positive outlook on Akali's win rate. A heavy one-shot focused setup of Rocket Belt, Nazanias, and Rabadons is what's leading to most success right now. The Riftmaker into Demonic build is still viable, but it's being overshadowed. Rune-wise for Akali, Fleet Footwork and Electrocute are performing much better than Conqueror. In more difficult lanes, you can run Fleet with Resolve secondary and start with Adore and Shield for maximum early sustain. In easier matchups, we would definitely recommend Electro over Conqueror, especially when going for the Rocket Belt rush. Akali is back as one of the better assassins and will be placed in A tier. A very light patch for mid lane and nothing groundbreaking to address midway through, so the meta remains intact. Lux and Vex are the most OP picks, while champs who can abuse Predator are seeing a nice boost in strength. We featured Twisted Fate with Predator in one of our recent videos, and it's gaining a ton of traction ever since. The rune single-handedly is offering a substantial power jolt to TF, so he'll be shifting into A tier. We've mentioned the Vlad and Galio picks in the past as well as really good Predator users too. Even Talia mid is seeing play with Predator by the likes of Showmaker in solo queue. Our top 3 low elo picks to spam for your end of season climbs are Darius, Malzahar, and Annie. The best bans for the state of the meta include Vex, Lux, and Zed. By far the most interesting trend in 11.22 has been the emergence of Lethality Xayah. Q max with a heavy CDR focused build is what is leading to insane results. Riot has even issued a couple hotfix nerfs due to how overtuned she was. Changes include Q damage being lowered from 50 scaling to 150 down to 45 scaling to 125. Furthermore, the Q cooldown buff from 11.21 is being completely reverted. Now, considering Xayah's win rate had spiked to over 54% before these nerfs, we don't expect her to lose too much strength. The core build is an Eclipse Rush into Manamune 2nd and Cyrilda's Grudge 3rd. It's also very key you prioritize Lucidity boots over Berserkers as you want as much haste as possible. Your ultimate cooldown becomes extremely short with this build, which opens up for many more windows of opportunity. Q and E cooldowns are also super low, which allows for strong poke and burst. A simple Q-E combo can chunk for massive damage with the lethality build. Kiting around and spacing properly is less of a necessity with the setup, which makes it super noob friendly too. In runes, you'll grab Summon Airy followed by Mana Flow, Transcendence, and Scorch. Free Boots and Biscuits work best for secondaries. Xayah will be placed in OP tier for now, but we will continue to monitor closely as a result of the hotfix changes. With Xayah taking home the OP tier slot, MF Jhin and Vayne will be bumped down to S tier. Still very strong picks, but a cut below Xayah due to her newfound build. Even after their buffs this patch, Kalista and Varus continue to lag behind the rest of the competition. There are many champs above them in S and A tier who will provide better results right now. Best picks to climb out of low elo for ADC are Ziggs, Misfortune, and Xayah. Vayne, MF, and Xayah are all great ban options in 11.22. Yuumi has seen a severe power shift as a result of her direct nerfs, but is that really a bad thing? Yuumi has been holding strong as one of the better S tier supports in previous patches, but will be moving into B tier due to the nerfs. Since Yuumi E is a point-and-click spell, removing stats is a guaranteed loss in strength. A nerf to Q wouldn't have been all that bad, but hitting her E, which takes no skill to use, has led to a drop-off in power. If you enjoy playing enchanters, there are many better options moving forward, as Soraka, Nami, and Lulu are great alternatives. As expected, the Maokai nerfs did absolutely nothing in regards to toning down his power as a support, while top lane Mao was hit the hardest. Passive healing is not what makes Maokai a strong support, so that change was rather negligible. The Swifty Boots rush combined with Dead Man's Plate is such a potent setup for solo queue, which is giving Maokai a ton of strength. Running around the map at lightning speed and picking enemies off with your point-and-click W is so foolproof yet extremely effective. Mao will remain in our S tier as one of the highest priority carry supports of the patch. We've been telling you guys about Predator Blitzcrank for a few patches now, and as more players catch on, his power level continues to rise. Blitz is on a level unlike any other support for 11.22, so we'll issue him his deserved OP tier slot above everyone else. Nami, Soraka, and Amumu are dropping down, not because they have become weaker, but because we feel Blitz is a cut above. Not only Blitz, but other pick supports like Pyke and Thresh are being played with Predator by many pros in solo queue. It adds a very aggressive, heavy roam playstyle that allows you to control the map and almost act like a second jungler. If you enjoy influencing other lanes and are tired of dealing with your inting ADCs, then look into running Predator more often. Top low elo picks to climb ranked are Soraka, Blitzcrank, and Zyra. Best bans include Amumu, Blitz, and Soraka. Alright guys, before we wrap this up, let's tell you a little more about SkillCapped. So, we offer a 5-division rank up guarantee, and think that's a pretty crazy thing to offer. It's like a gym membership guaranteeing you'll get ripped. Your local gym would go bust if they offered that, right? Not us. We've offered this for years because our service really does work. It works so well, in fact, that we're able to produce by far the largest catalog of premium league guides on the internet. We add over 20 videos a week, with over 1,600 guides curated into over 100 courses no one can compare. We've also sent challenger players into Elo Hell 714 times and counting, where they commentate how to carry live. They also respond to all questions asked. Sign up today for as little as $4.99 a month if you are serious about improving. So that's going to wrap everything up for our mid-patch update tier list. Now that you have an accurate read on what the meta is looking like, good luck in solo queue, and we'll see you in the next one.